G'day guys, you're back with Miraclemax. Look, I was halfway through filming one of my other videos when all of a sudden my trusty Jigsaw stopped working. And that's the problem, it comes and goes. So what's wrong with it? I don't know, let's check it out together. This is a Bosch PST 53AE. I've had it for a number of years and it's been okay, no major problems. I've done a lot of work with it. But one of the major problems is that sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. But watch this, hold the trigger down. Hear that? So that's given me a direction to go in. I'll show you why. Wasn't too hard to pull apart using a Phillips head as well as a flat blade screwdriver. The flat blade screwdriver is used for the foot plate. It has these two threaded flat blade screws involved. The two shorter screws go into the base here, these two here, and the rest are the same size. And of course, as always, if you're working on something electrical, keep the plug in front of you so you can physically see that it's disconnected from the wall. You're then safe to work on it. So what sort of things should I check? There's two things I'd like to check first. Is the switch okay? Is it a bit dicky? Is it coming and going? Is it turning on and then not turning on, etc.? Or is it the brush contact points onto the commutator that's got a dicky contact? Or is it the armature itself? Is one of the windings within the armature faulty? Well, there's a few things to check. I've been having a bit of a play with this for a little while now. I've checked out my switch and getting some varying readings on it. So I thought I'd go right to the source. I'd go right to the motor and check and see if it's getting voltage to it when the button's pressed. Now keep in mind that this is live now, so guys, you have to be very careful. This is a double insulated setup, which means that there's no actual earth built into it, so you've got to be super careful. The switch itself is made of plastic, there's no problems there. I'm keeping clear of any of the power. So let's turn on the power and see what it does. Keep an eye on my multimeter as well when I press the button. And we're getting no voltage come through. So could it be the switch? Well, it's quite possible. Let's have a look at the switch. Before I get all excited and start pulling the switch apart, I did some basic checks. Now keep in mind that our plug here has a active, a neutral and also an earth. The earth of course isn't connected in this particular case because it's double insulated. But we need continuity between one of these points, this point and that point. So let's check them and see what we've got. Now as you can see, I've put little dot marks everywhere. I've taken heaps of photos as well to make sure that I put everything back where it belongs. You've got to be safe guys, you've got to make sure that you know your stuff. This is high voltage electricity. When you're testing for continuity, honestly it doesn't matter if it's the active or the neutral that you're testing. Either way, it has to be connected to either this one or this one over here. And as we can see, we've got 0.5 of an ohm, so that's good. That indicates that there's continuity. Let's have a look at the other one. And in this particular case, it's the neutral. So let's see hang on, what's going on there? I've got no continuity. What's going on guys? Have we found the fault? Let's just poke him in there. We've got nothing there either. Do we have a broken wire? Could that be the issue? So what I need to do is see if I can actually isolate where the break might be. And it shouldn't actually be too hard. Generally speaking, a break will occur where wire is bent really tight. I doubt it'd be back here somewhere because that's a nice curve. But generally speaking, it might be in this handle piece. Particularly, you can see the wire does a nice big right-hand turn or a 90-degree turn. So my bet's perhaps down in here that the wire might be broken. So what I'm going to do is connect it between here and then do a wiggle test and see if we can get this to come back to life. I've actually disconnected the wire out of the switch simply because it was easier to connect it to get my little alligator clip hooked on. And as you can see, I've still got it on this side. Let's make sure we've got it on the right wire. Yes, we have. So let's just do a wiggle test. And as I suggest, I think it'll be down in here somewhere. Have a look at our multimeter and see what that does as I do a bit of a search and rescue down here. I might even have to pull this section off, I think. So I'm going to pull this wire off here and let's just set, did you see that? Now let's just see if we can get that back in. Come on fella, I know you're there. There we go, hey? Broken wire. So let's just try and isolate where the wire is actually broken. And it's not that hard, you just, as these tests suggest, you wiggle the wire until you find the actual break. Getting close there, aren't we? Maybe here? Getting continuity there or not, guys? You can see the bar graph moving across. This is quite flat through here, isn't it? So is that where the break is? Generally speaking, like I said, it'll be in here. So there you go. Broken wire, guys. So you've got to keep it fairly simple. You know, sometimes, myself included, you can get very complex with an issue. But yeah, all I'm going to do is, this may be moulded on there, I'm not sure, but I'll cut the wiring shorter, zip him up, stick it into place, and that should solve our issue. And of course, this may have been broken for some time. I certainly haven't been rough with it. I look after my tools very well, but manufacturer faults occur like that. But putting a wire through a 90-degree turn with vibration happening is a recipe for disaster. Have a look at what they've done to the outer insulation. They've squished the guts out of the poor thing. No wonder there was so much stress on the wire itself, and of course creating that break. You can see that I've cut the cord here and made sure that I have enough length on it, because I assumed that it was faulty in here. But as I did pull off the shroud, the outer insulation, I was running my fingers down here, and not sure if you guys can see it. I might hold it up a little bit further. But there's a little bump, just a little bump around about here somewhere, and it just doesn't feel right to me. The other one's fine. There's a little bump here. I might actually take it back further, because I reckon the brake might be in here, not up the top where I thought it was. So there we go, I'm just starting to pull it off. I might be wrong. It's quite possible I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Check it out, there's the brake, there's the full length of it, there's the wire in the end, and you can see that it's broken right here. So, it was a little further up the wire than I thought it was, but yeah, clear indication that there's a break. So just to prove a point, I've cut the wire so that you can see that there is still the copper wire in there. If we go down here, and you can see that that right down here is where it's broken. If I can get my fat little fingernails in there. There you go, look at that. There's the other half right there, guys. So, diagnosis complete. Excellent. While that was simple, it was kind of a bit weird, because like I said, normally you'd expect breakage around these areas here, this area here, and this area around here where it's flexing. But if I work this through here and try and come up with where it actually did break, I'm kind of, don't know if I cut at that end or that end. Not sure. But either way, the break was around about here somewhere, which is unusual. This is a protected area through here. It's double shrouded. It should be protected. The only other thing that I can think of is when I pack it away in its little box, I do tend to go like this, and I take that around like that, go like that, etc. And eventually, when I run out of wire, that is, I stick that down there like that. And of course, this does have to get stretched down like that. But hey, look, it should be able to cope with that amount of stress. That's not a lot of stress, is it? And that's how I normally pack it away, and then I pop the lid down, stick it on the shelf. So I'm just wondering if it was a faulty wire from manufacturer. I must admit this has been playing up for some time, and because it's been intermittent, I haven't really paid attention to it. But doing that other video just recently, it really ticked me off that I couldn't carry out my work simply because this was coming and going and coming and going. But hey, we've got it sorted. Let's do a road test on it, shall we? Oh, hang on. Shouldn't we put it back together first? Yeah, good idea, Max. I've just popped one screw in the middle just to hold the cover in place so I can test it and make sure that I'm on the right track. Have I solved the issue? Every time. Cool, let's assemble it, then give it a burl. Well, that seems to be doing the trick just nice. I'll put in a link for this particular video so you can check out what I'm doing here, but at least we've got the jigsaw up and running. Guys, if you enjoyed this very brief video and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like and feel free to comment down below. Of course, don't forget about that notification bell. You don't want to miss any future videos. So until next time guys, this is Miraclemax signing off. I will catch you later.